Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome in to SIN Sunday Sideline Report Super Bowl pregame show. I'm Mike Rifkin, joined today by Mark Oldop, Sky Halpern, Bill Murphy. Later on, we will be joined by others, so don't just think it's the three of us. But gentlemen, we've made it. How are you?
Doing well. How are you? Excited for the big one.
Mark?
Well, here we are. We made it through an entire NFL season, and Bill is still alive. You know things are good. See, we made you laugh, Bill. There you go. I'm doing good, Mike. And yourself?
I'm doing all right. So, it is Super Bowl Sunday. We have the Cincinnati Bengals taking on the Los Angeles Rams of St. Louis. We're just going to dive in because I think most everyone thinks this is a really fun matchup.
Going to be electric.
It's electric. It's electric.
You know, for the second boogie woogie oogie.
Yeah.
For the second consecutive year, a team will play the Super Bowl at their home stadium. The Rams will play at home. Weird that it took 55 years to get this, and now we get them back-to-back years.
Oh, I mean, talk about Seattle's 12th man. This is not planned by the NFL. The NFL chooses the stadium before the season even begins. So this is not even a planned event. So those who thinking Roger Goodell favors the St. Louis Rams of Los Angeles, to throw it backwards on Mike a little bit, it's not a setup. This is just a very rare coincidence.
I thought last year it was kind of a setup. I really did. I'm not going to lie about it. But,
Mike has a tinfoil hat on.
Believe me, I got all the conspiracies. But having it back-to-back years, awesome. Let's talk about the game a little bit. Let's start with the Bengals because I think this is the better, not the better story because there's a lot of good stories here, but
it's a feel-good story.
This is a phenomenal story because the Bengals 2 years ago, the Cincinnati Bengals were 2-14. And with the number one overall pick last year, they selected some guy named Joe Burrow.
LSU.
Louisiana State University by way of Ohio State University. Amazing how he couldn't play at Ohio State, Urban Meyer.
And this goes to show you a big key with Urban Meyer, but continue.
Yeah. Burrow last year tears it up, and then he tears his ACL, and then comes back this year and what was named Comeback Player of the Year. We will talk awards later in the show, but he was awarded Comeback Player of the Year, rightfully so. But I can't speak for you guys, but I don't think there's a single person who had the Cincinnati Bengals winning the AFC North and then to go in and just win the entire AFC.
Well, not speaking for me, but I'm going to give the shout out to the guy who deserves it. Randall Kamari Brugegi, former Marine, thank you very much, has had the Cincinnati Bengals since he was a little kid. So it's about time they got there for him.
Yes, thank you. Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, I just want to say, because I was questioned, because I remember like in the last few weeks of the season, I was talking to my brother, shout out to you, Dan. I said, I think the Bengals could be a possible Super Bowl contender. And he was like, give it a year or so. Well, looks like, let alone, I was right again.
Well, there's a first time for everything, but,
Please purchase your Bill was right shirt in the gift shop.
I don't think anyone – you want to call them a Super Bowl contender now. I mean, this team did it the right way. They built it through mainly the draft because a lot of free agents don't go to Cincinnati. They don't choose to go there. Now I will talk about a free agent who went there in a few minutes, but Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, who I'll be honest with you, I criticized the pick of Jamar Chase at 4 because I wanted them to draft Penny Sewell. 1, protect Joe Burrow at all costs, but 2, and very selfish of me, I wanted the Dolphins to take Jamar Chase. That was the other part of it.
But you got Waddle.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Waddle was phenomenal.
Yeah.
But going in, Jamar Chase is the whole package. So that happened. They drafted Joe Mixon a couple of years ago. They just paid him a nice deal. Tyler Boyd has been great for them. T. Higgins, who stole the number of Chad Ochocinco. I mean, Uzama, who I'm not sure if they've ruled him in or out yet. I don't think the actives list has come out.
He will will be on the active roster. However, he might only get 1 to 2 snaps, and that's it.
Okay, so you had it there first. But that the offense is loaded, but still, you have to go through Pittsburgh twice, Baltimore twice. There's not a soul alive who didn't think the Cleveland Browns wouldn't make the playoffs. Everyone, after last year in the offseason, everyone was on the Cleveland bandwagon. But Cincinnati said, you know what? I think it's the first time since 2000 or 2003, they swept Pittsburgh and they swept Baltimore in the same season. Insanity on how great they've been. We're joined by one of our special guests. Welcome in, Danny Boy Reginald, Dan Rhines. Dan, what's going on, man?
It's been a long weekend, but I can't wait for some football, yo.
There you go.
Yeah. Dan, we were talking about the Bengals and their road of getting here. So your thoughts on the Bengals?
It's been quite the ride for the Bengals because, think about how the season started. They started as a team that was going to go no more than 4 wins or so. If we're talking, they're like the bottom of the league.
Right.
And then they rose to something unbelievable, crazy. They became one of the best teams in the league. They won their division. And then the true test was the playoffs, the postseason. We wanted to see how they, as a division winner, go out there and compete. And they've competed. They competed offensively. They competed defensively. They've riled so many other teams to a point where these games are close. Keep in mind, they kept all these games fairly close. So the attitude of Joe Burrow, the attitude of the coach, Zach Taylor, who should have been coach of the year.
We're going to get there.
I know. But the fact is, this team came together when they needed to. They've showed some toughness. They showed some grit. They want to be a successful team. They have changed the culture. They did a complete 180 to that culture. And I'm so thrilled for the Cincinnati Bengal fan. And, if they win tonight, it would just be another one of those nice stories that you can tell pretty much any new fan along the way. Hey, look at the 2021 Cincinnati Bengals and their ride to the Super Bowl.
We are also joined now by the president of SIN, Lawrence Patchman Lang. Patchy, what's up, brother?
Oh, how we doing, boys?
We're alive so far. How are you?
Good. Just put in a nice 9 to 3 work day, and now we're here to talk some football.
There you go.
Yeah. To Dan's point about the Bengals and playing close games, they beat Minnesota in overtime to start the year. They took the Packers to overtime. And week 17, they beat Kansas City at home on a last-second field goal. So they play those tight games, and they're a really good football team. But the other thing that bothered me throughout the year was, can we really buy them? Because they did have those games. The first meeting against the Browns where they get decimated. And then they lost to the Mike White-led New York Jets.
Let's go.
There's your shout out, Dan. There's your shout out.
Dan is like the only one. Even if the Bengals win tonight, Dan can proudly beat his chest because his beloved New York Jets, led by the immortal Mike White, beat the Bengals. Like, if the Bengals win tonight, Danny Boy Reginald could still sleep good tonight.
Hey, I beat the Super Bowl champs. What, you can't.
And we're also the Jets. I mean, that alone is enough.
Yeah.
Now, we make fun of everybody, not just the Jets.
Yeah, free
But
reign.
if you look at this team, just to build on what Mike was saying, when they talk about playing close games, absolutely. But the biggest weakness for me is the interceptions for Cincinnati. Their leader was their leading tackler, the linebacker Wilson, with 4. That's not going to get it done. However, good luck in controlling any receiver tonight, because I don't think it's going to be a pretty much of a matchup with OBJ and Kupp on one side and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins on the other. I mean, Tyler Boyd. It's going to be impossible. Bill, what do you think?
I think we're going to have with the Cincinnati Bengals in general and just everything.
Just talking about what I was building on, playing in close games, and just wide receiver control and stuff like that.
Well, I think this could be a very close game tonight because the Bengals, like you said, they've won a lot of close games this year, especially the AFC Championship game in Kansas City. But the thing is, they either got to try to keep games close with the defense. And, I'm going to say this tonight with that wide receiver core that Los Angeles has, Cincinnati might struggle a little bit. They might struggle because you got Cooper Kupp, you got Robert Woods, and you got OBJ.
Well, Robert Woods is not playing. So.
Okay.
Right. Woods out.
And Higbee is also out. So you got
So
Blanton is the starting tight end for tonight.
So
Joe Blanton, Oakland A's legend, Joe Blanton.
But you still got Kupp, you still got OBJ. So maybe it won't be as intense tonight for the Cincinnati defense, but they're gonna have to try to keep it close. And also on the offense, when you got Boyd, Higgins, and Chase, you gotta try to break that Los Angeles defense.
So
you gotta try to break Aaron Donald.
Well, to Mark's point first, and then I'll go off of what you said. The Bengals have the highest turnover differential in the playoffs at a +5 turnover differential.
Yeah, just in the playoffs. And
right.
Yes, that's going to help you right now, but keep going, Mike.
But to Bill's point on the Rams, and then we move a little bit quicker. You're not going to break Aaron Donald because no one breaks Aaron Donald. No. But I think you brought up a very important key, and that's the Bengal offensive line, which this year, Joe Burrow's been sacked 12 times in the playoffs, over 51 in the regular season, and the Rams were near the top of the league in sacks during the regular season. So that's an interesting matchup as well. Pat, your thoughts on the game as we get started here?
Oh, hang on one second, please. Okay.
I'm holding on.
Now you're holding on. All right. The game as a whole, to me, it's either going to be a defensive battle or we're going to have a shootout and have ourselves a nice high-scoring football game, because who doesn't want a high-scoring football game?
Especially in the Super Bowl.
One key factor definitely today is going to be the weather. It's going to be a little hot out in California. It's going to be a little warm. 85. Also, fun fact, I learned about this morning when watching the news. SoFi Stadium has no AC. They rely on the wind. Has no AC. They rely on the wind that comes off the West Coast to help filtrate the airflow inside the stadium. And there's going to be no wind today.
And with 85 degrees outside you have to add, because as Patch and I know, we both worked on a field, so we know what it's like. You have to add 30 to 35 degrees to that field immediately. So it's going to feel like 110 right on that field.
Yeah, because, it's the lovely AstroTurf.
Oh, man.
It's lovely.
I hope everyone brought a second jersey to change into.
Either that
I'm sure they're good.
Or you can be like Dallas and make sure you bring the heated bench. In this case, it should be a cooling bench.
Bring the fans.
Well, I'm sure there'll be fans around.
Yeah, there'll be misters and stuff.
If anything, everyone can simultaneously just go help filtrate air throughout the stadium. But minus the weather, you have to look into account. You have probably a well-stacked LA Rams team, and you got the young guns in the Cincinnati Bengals looking out to maybe shock the world, as maybe we can call this David versus Goliath if we want to, because hey, you got Kupp, you got OBJ, you got Matt Stafford on the Rams, and then there's Joey B and company, who are coming out to prove a point.
So my one issue with calling this David versus Goliath would be, I think the AFC Championship game, the Chiefs-Bengals, was more David-Goliath kind of a matchup, because I think there are a good number of people who did pick the Rams to go to the Super Bowl. I was one of them. But they had an interesting road, too. Look, they had to go through division rival Arizona in the wild card round. Then they had to go into Tampa and retire Tom Brady. And then they beat their nemesis, the San Francisco 49ers, in the NFC title game, a team they hadn't beaten in their last 6 tries. So this has been a great run for Matthew Stafford as well. And Matthew Stafford deserves this. Sean McVay deserves this, because the Rams, let's be fair, the Rams were good with Jared Goff. They were very good. And Sean McVay goes, you know what? I don't love this as much as I thought I would. Let's go get me a guy who could sling it way down the field. Let's go get Matthew Stafford. And I think a lot of people go, Matthew Stafford for 2 firsts? Are you insane? Well, Matthew Stafford was in Detroit posting great numbers. You didn't notice him because he was in Detroit. Sorry, Detroit. But you give him weapons. Cooper Kupp, who did get an MVP vote. Again, we'll go through awards later. Robert Woods, who will not play tonight, but was having a good year. You go out and you sign Odell Beckham, Higbee, and then you get the triangle running backs of Sony Michel, Darrell Henderson, and now Cam Akers is back with a good offensive line. This is the best team Matthew Stafford's had since he left the University of Georgia.
and that is 100% on key. I mean, look, we watch Matthew Stafford throw to Calvin Johnson so many times, and if you know that ball was in the air and he was anywhere near it, it was going to be caught. You give Matthew Stafford the weapons he has this year, there's no reason for him to be as unstoppable as he is. And yeah.
And, just to go off for a second, the Rams continued the all-in approach. Odell Beckham, basically for free because Cleveland cut him. Von Miller for a second-round pick. And that's going in with Leonard Floyd and all the other guys. They've got Jalen Ramsey. Since going to LA, the Rams have literally said, we are going to try this approach and go the LA style of all in. And right now, up until now, it's failed because they haven't won. Now they have this opportunity. And it's a complete contrast to styles, because the Bengals, we said it, they drafted, developed. Big free agents don't go there outside of Trey Hendrickson, who signed there this year. The Rams, it was, nope, we don't have draft picks, and we're going to throw all of our money at these big name guys. Dan, what do you think?
About the Rams, just their ride, you mean? Or
The Rams ride.
yeah, I mean, they obviously spent a lot of money. They invested way too much, in my opinion. But let's call what it is. They want to win the Super Bowl now, and losing that Super Bowl would be devastating because they're stuck with these guys. So they need to win now so that it all works out. And I think that I predict the Rams will win. It'll all work out for them. But this is the time. They're also a little red hot here. They have the receiving core. They have the defense to do it. And Matt Stafford has proven, like we just said, has proven with weapons, he's unstoppable. So there's really no reason. There really isn't a reason for them to not win this game. And they're gonna do everything they can. They're gonna go all out, just like they have all season. And it's obviously what the Bengals have done is more impressive, but the Rams, this is their time. And they could feel it that it's their time. And you could see in their vein, you can tell that they want this so bad. And it's all across that locker room, man. It's all across that locker room. And I think they will ball out. They're going to ball out. It's going to be a very close game. And there's going to be major defensive stops on this team. I really feel that today.
To build on what Dan was just saying, Rams are all in. They're going to be poached after this year. Odell Beckham Jr. is on a 1-year, $750,000 contract. He gets the Super Bowl ring. He's a number one receiver again and going to some team as the number one. But there are players that are going to be gone. So the buy now has to happen this year. I agree with Dan that it would be disastrous if they lose.
Let's go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, I just want to build off what you guys both said about the Rams. It's like he's going to be, Odell Beckham's going to be the hottest wide receiver, but, and also, as a former Giant, as he's a former Giant and as a Giant fan, I'd be happy to see him win. And also, I think the person who really has a lot to prove is Matt Stafford because, and I've been saying this for weeks, and I will say this till the cows come home. I've been saying this since the NFC Championship game. Matt Stafford has a lot to prove. And the reason why is because he's been overlooked for years. He always gets passed over by Brady and Rodgers and Mahomes.
Well, rightfully so.
Because he's been in the garbage system known as the Detroit Lions.
Right.
And now that he has a better system, and listen, this guy's got maybe 3, 4, maybe 5 years left. And
not even.
And if he's tonight got to make a statement saying, you know what, I'm just as good as Brady. I'm just as good as Mahomes and Rodgers. I belong in this category. I was just in a really crappy situation. So Stafford has a lot to prove tonight. That defense, like I said, as much as I do like the Cincinnati Bengals' offensive line, the Los Angeles defense is scary, man. Aaron Donald knows how to light fire under people's behinds.
So sorry, I just thought I read something earlier that Odell was saying he could re-sign with the Rams this offseason.
Well, he should. Let's put it.
He should, yes.
He should. He's been terrific for LA. He loves it there, clearly. The coaching system has been very beneficial for him. I don't see why not. Now, would I sign him for a lot of money? No, because he's a head case and you're going to be stuck with him in that case. But, something that's reasonable to keep him there and to run it back, yeah, he should absolutely do that.
All right. So also, this is from Adam Schefter earlier today. Both Super Bowl head coaches, Sean McVay and Zach Taylor, both are in line for contract extensions this offseason, per league sources. McVay has 2 seasons left on his contract. Taylor is heading into the last season of his contract. So that is what could be on the line is a massive payday for both coaches, Odell Beckham as well. Patch, to bring you in and up to speed a little bit. We were talking about the differences of the Rams going all in. So your thoughts on the Rams going all in before we move on?
It's interesting because the Rams with Jared Goff, yes, they got to a Super Bowl, but that experiment failed horribly when I wouldn't say it failed horribly. It didn't end well for them. And then Jared Goff after that had a couple subpar seasons where it was not good for the Rams. And then we were questioning, are the Rams actually that good with Jared Goff? Fast forward 2020, a trade happens. Matt Stafford comes over, and I think it was a great move because, as Bill said, Matt Stafford was overlooked because, years and years of misery in Detroit where, the Lions were doing nothing with Matt Stafford. Matt Stafford would put his heart out on the field and then get himself nowhere. Yeah. And his only saving grace was Calvin Johnson. And he ended up retiring because he was like, I'm done here. He was like SpongeBob. I'm going to head out. I'm done. So that was a awesome execution move. Get Matt Stafford and look what happened. We're here at the Super Bowl. Go out and get OBJ. Why not? Get one of the best wide receivers. Yes, you're acquiring a character. He's like the Dennis Rodman of the NFL. He's a character. And you know what? You gotta deal with him.
And his kicking net.
And his kicking net. You gotta and his love-hate relationship with the kicking net. But regardless, it's awesome to see, a team go push all the chips in and say, I'm all in to execute and try to win a championship here. So it's good for the Rams, good for the fans. And, hopefully it pays off for a few players that finally get that coveted Lombardi trophy in their hands.
Yeah. So we'll talk more about the game in a few minutes and we'll go into some other things also. But as we wait a second here, because we are going to go into deeper conversation, let's talk a little bit about the coaches, because Sean McVay, I think a lot of people know how good he is. He's been the toast of the town for a couple of years now. Zach Taylor was a guy, I think a lot, myself included, if the Bengals struggled early in the year, I thought Zach Taylor would get canned. And now he is in line for a massive extension. And the job he has done even earned him some consideration, I think, for Coach of the Year. That being said, we decided to do our own take on NFL honors. We also did our own little award stuff for our own network. So, Patch, I'm going to throw it to you for the award stuff.
Are we going to do all the awards, or are we just going to start with a few?
Whatever.
Let's give a taste. We'll give a little taste.
All right, fine. Well, we asked the whole network to give who they thought. We asked the question, who we think should run for office. And 40% of the SIN network said that we feel that Peyton Manning should run for office. Followed by 20% to JJ Watt and TJ Hushmanzada.
Mainly because people wanted to say President Hushmanzada. I'm betting on.
Yes. To go over another, like for one of our NFL awards, we did team to watch out for. 40% of the SIN network said that watch out for the Cowboys. Followed by the Dolphins at 20%.
Oh, wow. The Dolphins come in second? Wow,
Yes.
Nobody really does like New York, do they?
No. We gave out comeback player of the year. 100% said Joey B for comeback player of the year.
So we agreed with you, NFL honors. Good work.
For our rookie of the year, 60% said Micah Parsons. for Rookie of the Year, followed by 40% went to Jamar Chase. Coach of the Year went to Zach Taylor for us.
As it should have.
70% of the SIN network said that. The best one we came up with, there was a compilation between me and Mark, and I think Rifkin. We did Bust of the Year.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Urban Meyer, 50% of our network said you were the Bust of the Year.
Wait, so half of the network said Urban Meyer.
Urban Meyer.
He's now sold that restaurant where he got the grind video appeared. He's selling that.
Are you kidding?
No.
He's
so many memories in that spot for him. I don't know why he would sell it.
Also 40% of the SI network said that the Week 18 Colts were the Bust of the Year.
Oh God, that was the most vicious loss of the season.
And then 10% out to Sam Darnold. So Sam Darnold, congrats. You got 30.
See, Dan, we still think about him.
I'll save Defensive Player of the Year and NFL MVP for later in the show. But just to go over a few other awards, and this one's not an award. This one was more of a question we posed to the network that me, Mark, and Dan went over. We asked the question, Dan has not eaten this before recording. And just to give a few of the choices, we had pizza, salad, a chicken sandwich, sushi, and pasta. And the only man that knows the answer to this is Dan. So what was the answer?
Out of all those, I've never had sushi on air.
Okay.
I've never had sushi.
I mean, we are sitting here and we're shooting off names of restaurants left and right.
This is true.
At some point, we were just getting into ones that are small little locations around here, but they're bigger as you go south, and we're cracking up. And then it's like
great.
But Dan has brought in. We know he's had McDonald's. That was an easy one.
Yeah.
McDonald's, you get your shout out, but we're not going to name all the other restaurants. But
yeah,
it was like, what's the one thing?
And astoundingly enough, 50% of the SIN crew got it right. 30%,
really?
30% thought pizza, 10%, and then 10% two people thought pasta and chicken sandwich.
Yeah. Pasta.
Now we're challenging him, so at some point he will bring sushi onto a recording.
Yep.
Pasta is interesting because I've had like a chicken parm that would come on the side, pasta with this on the side. So no, I don't know. Yeah. So pasta definitely isn't it. But sushi I've never had on while I was recording. Never.
All right, and then our last two awards for now, we asked the SIN crew best facial hair. Best facial hair award goes to Eric Ford. 40% of the crew said you have the best facial hair.
Yes.
Shout out Eric.
Shout out to Eric Ford.
One of our who has been a solid co-host on Thursday night sideline report.
And I can speak to that. He's been doing a great job, and I loved working with him.
And then last award, we asked the best hair award. And yours truly, the Patch Man.
The Patch Man won it.
Patch Man.
This is so rigged. I demand
40% said I have the best hair, followed by Alex at 30%, and then 10% went to Rifkin, Zach, and Bill.
Zach has.
Who the hell thinks Bill has good hair?
I'm kind of shocked at that too. I have very standard hair.
Zach is actually not that bad too. If you really think about it,
He really isn't.
And to be honest, Rifkin, if you had the hair like you had when we were in college, I think the whole narrative changes.
That narrative would have changed.
It had the big.
Yeah. Oh, that narrative always changes. You let it grow, and I
But for
literally
now-
just got this cut, but
Yeah, the second he got his first haircut in college, we were all dying of laughter.
oh my god, yeah,
We could not believe that he actually cut that hair.
massive.
And it looked so different. It was like, what the hell?
See, now comes the question, because we're going to make this very fast because I'm going to go off on a tangent, which is a rarity. Bill brought up a throwback memory on our 100th episode of him calling out dog physics, and Dan was there for that. So I want to know, Dan, what was the bigger laugh? Mike cutting his hair or Bill calling out dog physics on live radio?
Definitely the dog physics on live radio. Like, come on now.
Dog physics.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I mean, look, if you were to call out some phony BS, and Bill, I understand you're a gullible guy, and I'm not gonna, rip you apart too much.
Come on, you gotta admit, I was a good sport about it.
But look, the fact that he actually read that, I was just like, oh my god. And of course, I can't laugh because I have a show to do. So,
and I'm like sitting there thinking, I'm like, what is the? I actually thought that was a real class for a second. I'm thinking, what is there physics to do for a dog? It eats, it sleeps, it takes a crap.
All right. Good stuff. Good stuff.
No offense to dogs. I love dogs, but
Then I'll just let the audience know there's a couple other. We have our best article award. We have an award to give out to who in the SAN crew will most likely have an Antonio Brown moment. We'll get to that. We have Ranter of the Year, most likely to win a sumo match. The most passionate fan, best honorary member, our club MVP, and then a few other special surprises.
Yeah. So we'll get to those a little bit later because we're trying to go to about 5:00, but for now, I've got some Super Bowl trivia for you guys.
Oh boy.
it was fun.
Yeah.
I've got 5 questions. One is a list, so I'm going to start with the list. Name every defensive player to win Super Bowl MVP.
Well, you got Cowboys, you got Randy White, Harvey Martin,
Yep.
Ray Lewis.
Yep.
Did Rondé Barber get it for Tampa Bay?
A defensive player did get it. It was not Rondé Barber.
It was not Rondé, though. Okay. No, Saints blew out. Didn't blow out. That was a nice pickoff, though.
What's been said so far?
Harvey Martin and Randy White and Ray Lewis.
What about Von Miller?
Von Miller did win it for Denver.
Damn, I forgot about that.
Now I want to make this clarification. Harvey Martin and Randy White shared the award for Dallas.
Correct.
Okay. There are other Cowboys on this list, Mark.
Yes, I know. I'm just. I also want to say Harry Carson, but I don't think he won MVP. I think he was just player of the game.
Wait for the Giants. No,
I think he won player of the game. I don't think he won MVP.
Giants MVPs were Phil Simms, Otis Anderson, and Eli Manning.
The only one who deserved it was Phil Simms. Who else defensively on Dallas?
I mean, David Tyree's helmet should have earned that MVP, but that's a whole nother conversation.
Dallas, though. Defensive wise, offensive wise, yes, but not.
Well, when did the Cowboys win the Super Bowl?
Well, that's why I'm going into the 70s because I know all the. Oh God, Larry Brown.
Yeah, the famous basketball coach Larry Brown won an MVP.
Yes, Larry Brown,
Cowboys,
95.
2 interceptions in the game.
Yes, that were completely not brilliantly picked off. Neil O'Donnell just threw him to nowhere, and Larry Brown just happened to be standing there.
And then he retired and became a basketball coach.
All right, who else are we missing?
Oh, you got Von Miller, too.
All right.
Von Miller was the most recent.
And you're going back way back.
No, you're missing one
Smith?
recent.
Malcolm
And
Smith.
you're missing one. Well, Mark, you brought up the team earlier. It was on defense, that Rondé Barber Bucks team.
Well, John Lynch was with was John Lynch with Tampa at that point, or was he
John
still in
Lynch was
Denver?
on, I think, was with Tampa, but he's not the guy.
Jesus, I know I'm in the right year. And I'm not cheating and looking this up either.
We believe you.
Okay.
I believe you.
Anybody else? I mean, all right, Mike. Who else are we missing?
All right. Chuck Howley.
Oh, son of 54.
Jake Scott from the Dolphins.
Oh,
Richard Dent
86.
from the Bears. You said Larry Brown, Ray Lewis, Malcolm Smith from the Seahawks.
I think Patchy said it while his mouth was full, so we're going to give Patchy credit for that.
I apologize for that because I didn't hear that. And the guy you're looking for from the 02 Bucks, Dexter Jackson.
Should have known that. I get dinged for not knowing Dexter.
Listen, in your defense, of all the players on that defense, Warren Sapp, Simeon Rice, Derek Brooks, Rondé Barber, John Lynch, it's Dexter Jackson. All right. Which city has hosted the most Super Bowls?
Ooh.
I definitely know one. But I'm
It's
going to let
only
these
one
guys.
answer.
Okay. No, there has to be. No, okay, maybe not. It might be. I'm pretty sure I know the answer. I want these guys to get a shot at it.
I'm going to say Los Angeles.
You'd be wrong. Take a lap.
Oh, my brother says the same thing.
High knees.
Get you into shape.
Can I guess?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Miami.
You'd be correct, sir.
That's what I was gonna say.
Come on. Let's
there you go, Danny boy.
I was either thinking Miami or New Orleans.
I was thinking New
I
Orleans
think
is the
New
other
Orleans
one.
is second.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure.
But I was thinking Miami is one.
Okay. What two teams have the most losses in Super Bowls?
Oh my God.
That's New England at 5.
New England is one of them, yes.
That's because the only reason I know that was brought up the other day.
Well, Buffalo has 4.
That's 4.
Yeah, I was thinking Buffalo.
There's got to be another team with 5 losses. Because Buffalo would stand out immediately to all of us.
Now, I did not fact check where I got this, so I could be wrong, but I got these. There's one more.
NFC or AFC?
It is another AFC team.
It has to be the Steelers. It's the only other team that's been in the Super Bowl that many times that could have done it.
It's not the Steelers.
Okay.
Whoa. All right. Up to these boys.
And they've lost 5 times?
5 times.
Okay, 5 times. I got to think about this.
Just like Booker T lost the WCW 5 times. Patch knows where I'm going with that.
I'm still the guy in the puffy coat.
Okay. Can you dig it?
Suckers.
The Seahawks never made it as an AFC team, correct?
No.
No.
Okay, it wasn't the Seahawks.
No.
To help or to not give this hint?
Give the hint for these guys. I won't shout out.
Okay. So I'm talking directly to Dan because Dan, the Seahawks helped this team with one of the 5.
Was it Denver?
Denver.
Okay.
Yeah.
The only reason why I asked because Seahawks used to be in the AFC.
Yeah.
So
correct.
Steve Largent and company. By the way, those old Seahawk helmets, the silver ones.
They were nice.
Yeah. All right. What 2 quarterbacks have won Super Bowls with 2 different teams?
Peyton Manning and Tom Brady.
Yep. All right.
Very good, Bill.
Yeah, look at you paying attention.
That one was
better
easy.
Manning and Tom. All right. Last one I've got.
Okay.
There are 4 teams in NFL history to not appear in the Super Bowl.
Oh, God. Well, Texans and Jaguars are 2 of them.
Detroit.
Detroit.
It's 3.
What's one more?
Cleveland.
Yep, those are the four teams who have never been to the Super Bowl. Cleveland, Detroit, Houston, Jacksonville. By the way, I think they should do a game between the teams with the top 2 picks in the draft to see who gets the number 1 pick instead of the Super Bowl.
That.
The Slumber Bowl. Jags Lions. Let's go. Super Bowl.
Oh, bring that. I would be all for that.
Oh, that would be awesome. All right. So that was some Super Bowl trivia that we got.
One thing I want to say about our group here. This is the group that started out our NFL season. These 5, we put this thing together, and we've had over our year. I just want to thank all the SIN blitzers and guys who joined us on the podcast. You've all been a very big help. Mike and I appreciate you, and we're going to be on your cases starting very soon with your statement addresses. Starting with your statement addresses that are due next week, Dan and Patchy, you get an extra 5 minutes. So
yeah, we're going to be on top of it.
Overruled.
So shout out to the boys who helped out, did the work all year, except for Bill.
I just want to make sure we thanked you guys for all the hard work and all the help you put in.
Yeah.
Bill, you and Eric did a great job. And
Eric
Alex
did
and
a
Connor,
great job.
yeah.
Yeah.
Alex and Connor, thank you for jumping in and helping on Thursday nights. I want to make sure we give all these guys credit.
I want
Shout
to
out
say
everybody.
I want to say to my Thursday night crew, to Eric, to Alex, to Connor, thank you guys. You guys really helped this show. And plus, I want to say to you three, I know times I haven't been the easiest person to work with. Math. Remember, guys, I have a communications degree, not a math degree. But
no.
I know I haven't been the easiest to work with, but guys, thank you for helping me with this Thursday night show. And you guys have been doing a great job with the Sunday show.
Damn right we have.
And now back to Mike Rifkin.
Oh, thanks, man. I don't know where to go off the touching subject because
how about this? Let's make it easy. I have a little person here because we haven't had a kid aspect of our show. And we have a little child in here.
Oh, we have a child?
We have a little child. Charlotte.
Okay.
Or she was in here and now she's gone.
Wait,
she'll be back. So I will.
All right. So until we are back with child, which sounds so bad.
Oh wait, I hear feet. Here she comes. Charlotte, coming quickly.
Hey,
come
Charlotte.
Gotta come say hello.
Charlotte.
Hey. All right,
Charlotte. Hey, Charlotte.
So tonight's the Super Bowl, right?
Don't squish me.
I won't squish you. Tonight's the Super Bowl, right? And we have the Rams and the Bengals. Who's playing? Who's winning?
Bengals.
Why?
It rhymes with bagel.
The Bengals because it rhymes with bagel. That is why the Bengals are winning tonight.
That is
Love it. Love it.
Charlotte will be joining us for her own segment on SIN's the 19th hole, so stay tuned for that soon.
Oh my, that was amazing.
Goodbye.
Bengals.
Bye, Charlotte.
Oh, back to your Valentine's.
All right. So we talked a little bit about awards. They were announced Thursday night, as was the Hall of Fame that was announced for this year. The rundown goes like this. Offensive lineman Tony Baselli, who was the first pick in Jags history, member of the 1990 All-Decades team, 5-time Pro Bowler, 3-time All-Pro. Leroy Butler, creator of the Lambeau Leap, only player in NFL history with at least 3 interceptions and 3 sacks in 3 consecutive seasons. 3 is wild for Leroy Butler. He's one of 6 players in NFL history to have 30 interceptions and 20 sacks in his career and a member of the 1990s All-Decade team. Sam Mills, who was a linebacker, 5-time Pro Bowler, 1-time All-Pro. Led a great Saints defense in the 1980s. They were top 5 in points given up, yards allowed, and rushing touchdowns. Richard Seymour, 3-time Super Bowl champion, 7-time Pro Bowler, 3-time All-Pro, 57.5 sacks. Member of the 2000 All-Decades team. Brian Young, who I'm sure Mark knows a good deal from his days at San Francisco. 1990 All-Decade team, 81.5 sacks, 4-time Pro Bowler, 1-time All-Pro. Cliff Branch, 3-time Super Bowl champion with the Raiders in those games, 14 catches, 181 yards, 3 touchdowns. 4-time Pro Bowler, 3-time All-Pro, first team. Art McNally, who was considered the father of modern officiating. We need to talk about that, Art, if that's real. Dead. But he's going in. And Dick Vermeil is going in. 120 wins, 2 Super Bowl appearances, 1 with the Rams, greatest show on turf. That's the Hall of Fame class for 2022. Mark, I'll start this with you.
Yep.
Was there anyone who stood out who didn't make this for you?
I mean, mind you, I have my own personal, agenda when it comes to the Hall of Fame. I have been a very big supporter of every Dallas player that should get in. There are players that are not on this list that are not on the list due to bias, and I'm going to leave it at that. The only person that Mike brought up that doesn't belong on this list, even though he did give headaches during the 90s, Bryant Young, nothing against you. You were a damn good defensive player. You hit Troy Aikman too hard. You don't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. I'm sorry. You hit him too hard. I'm sorry. You don't belong in the Hall of Fame.
You hit him too hard.
Yes, that's how it is. There are a ton of players. Before you get to me on who didn't deserve, let's go to the current crew. Let's start with Dan on this. Who should have been nominated for the Hall of Fame that you think didn't get it?
Joe Klecko.
Okay, Joe Klecko,
the headliner of the famous New York Sack Exchange, one of the very few defensive lines that ever have a name, the New York Sack Exchange. He's not in it, and it's a shame that he's not in it because he's been to the Pro Bowl on 3 different positions. You know how hard it is to do that in the NFL? Be named to the Pro Bowl in 3 different positions, and to have all the numbers that he has in his whole career, it's a shame. It's a shame.
I'm going to say this because at first I thought you had said Joe Flacco.
That's what I thought for a second. Why would he say Flacco? But the only reason why we were thinking Flacco is because he was on the Jets for a week.
Yeah.
A whole 20 minutes.
So Joe Klecko for sure.
Okay. I'm going to say now, just to make it easy, Darren Woodson should have been in the Hall for Dallas this year. All right, Bill.
Yeah.
Who do you think who didn't make the Hall should have? We'll come back to Bill. We'll let him think. Patchman, is there anybody on your list that you would think that should have made the Hall? And I think you're muted at the moment, Patchy.
If I don't know if it was said, I think Otis Taylor.
Okay. Yeah. Old time linebacker, old time defensive.
Old time, was with the Chiefs for a long time. Drafted by the Eagles. Menaced on the field. Deserves to be in.
Hold on. Dan, before you go, because you just messaged us in the chat, who you got and who's winning the MVP today, brother?
Rams are winning. MVP, Stafford.
All right. Thanks, Dan.
All
Dan,
right,
we'll see you for our next podcast recording tomorrow.
All right. See ya.
All right. Later, buddy.
Bye, pal.
All right.
And then there were 4.
All right. So, Bill, have you thought of anybody?
Yeah. I think someone who should be, and I'm not just saying this because I'm a Giants fan. Why isn't Phil Simms in the Hall of Fame?
And you're not wrong. look, the guy has a Super Bowl MVP, but when you look at his numbers, he wasn't a dominant quarterback over his time. He was good. He was good enough to play. He did a hell of a job for the Giants. I'm not going to say he didn't. Made Stephen Baker look to be amazing. As far wrong team. That's to show you how much I know about Phil Simms. Now, Phil Simms will get in right now. Let him announce. He's not going to get in as fast as anybody who doesn't have 2 rings right now, at least.
And maybe I'm a little biased because he was actually like my first ever jersey I owned. So
I'm biased the fact Darren Woodson's not in. He should be in. Best safety ever.
Yeah. Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
I actually just thought of another Super Bowl trivia question for you folks.
Go for it, Bill.
Tonight, for the first time ever, first interesting fact, if tonight is the first time that 2 coaches under the age of 40 will be playing against each other, if the Rams win, Sean McVay will be the youngest coach to win a Super Bowl. Who's currently the youngest?
Who's currently the youngest coach to win the Super Bowl?
That's a good one. Is this person active or retired?
Active.
Ooh.
Oh.
That makes it even harder.
Tomlin?
That makes sense.
Yeah, Tomlin makes sense.
I mean, also, Tomlin doesn't look like he's aged. That's the only other reason why you say
No,
that.
he's just grown outward. That's about it.
Yeah.
I agree with Mike Tomlin.
That's correct.
All right. So actually, that works really well because one day Mike Tomlin's going to go to the Hall of Fame as well.
He should.
I can run through a plethora of guys who I think should be in, so I'm going to probably do that now. I was a big advocate for Isaac Bruce, so I'm very happy he finally got in last year.
Yeah.
Put in his teammate, Torrey Holt.
Absolutely.
Torrey Holt was a great receiver, and down the field, Torrey Holt was the man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to stay receiver. Andre Johnson, look at his numbers. I don't want to penalize him because he played for the Texans.
That's the only thing that hurts him.
Well, like he would be the first Texan. I know Ed Reed's in. Ed Reed will always be a Baltimore Raven. I don't care.
I agree.
Andre Johnson should be. Reggie Wayne, I think, is a Hall of Famer.
Another one who deserves to be in. Yes, Colts.
Yeah, if you're going to put Peyton and Marvin Harrison and Edgerrin James and put Reggie Wayne in.
Yes.
The only person I will not let you put in is Dallas Clark, and I love Dallas Clark, but he's not a Hall of Fame tight end.
No. One day he will be, but
if we're gonna keep Zach Thomas, if I'm gonna get on the Dolphin train, look at Zach Thomas's numbers compared to Brian Urlacher. They're eerily similar. That's all I'm gonna say. There's a lot of dudes. I mean, and if we're gonna go off who plays today. JJ Watt's going to get in at some point.
You know that sorry, excuse me. At one point in time, OBJ is getting in. I'm sorry, just because the catch alone in New York.
So I'll throw it out to this way. If the Rams win, Aaron Donald's getting. Well, Aaron Donald's in anyway, but another accolade. But if the Rams is Stafford a Hall of Fame? Is Matthew Stafford a Hall of Famer?
He's not a 5 and in, but he's in.
I think maybe 7 years he'll be in.
It'll be a couple of ballots at least. I agree with Bill.
All right, cool.
He doesn't win, and he goes out his career just like, unfortunately, I'm going to throw out, this is going to stab Mike in the heart a little bit, the great Dan Marino. It's going to take him a while. Obviously, Stafford is nowhere near the quarterback.
Right, he doesn't have the numbers Marino did. So.
Right. I mean, you can't really hold stat-wise, but career-wise, it's almost the same thing, unfortunately.
Yeah, so that's who's getting in. We have some interesting names who will be first-time eligibles this year. One other who was on the ballot didn't get it, Devin Hester.
Oh, that's who I couldn't think of.
Devin Hester is a guy who listen, if
Best
you
punt.
don't want to put kick returners and punt returners in the hall, then don't have kicking and punting be a thing.
Oh, please.
Great.
He was the best there ever was, the most
Oh.
feared. Next to
You-
Joey Galloway, there was no one scarier on a punt return.
I mean, he kicked off the Super Bowl. He returned the kickoff in the Super Bowl.
Yep.
So first time eligibles for next year, Darrell Revis, Joe
Hmm.
Thomas, the old offensive lineman for the Cleveland Browns, James Harrison, Dwight Freeney, all first time eligible next year. There are other names to that list. I just don't think most of them are Hall of Famers. So
And Mike and
Yeah.
I had discussed this earlier a little bit, and the only name I think on there is going to be the biggest problem is James Harrison and his relationship with good old Goodell. I think it's going to be a problem for him to get in until Goodell is out.
yeah, I mean, Freeney will get in at some point if he's not first. Mark, we agreed on Revis as well.
Yes.
we both
Yeah.
thought Revis should get it.
Revis Island, absolutely.
Yeah. Revis Island was like Rikers Island for receivers.
Right. Which brings us into a good segue for tonight. Let's look at the defensive matchup, and I'm putting it right here. Jalen Ramsey versus Jamar Chase. We'll talk about Eli Apple and OBJ in a minute, but as Eli Apple has begged to be cover OBJ, but let's look at this. This is the best cornerback wide receiver lineup in years that I can imagine. Technically, you got the number ones. I mean, you got the number one in the AFC and the number one in the NFC playing tonight, which is a great thing. But Jamar Chase versus Jalen Ramsey. How many pass interferences are being called on Jalen Ramsey tonight, Mike?
I'll put it at 2, but I'm hoping this. I hope the refs let him play a little bit. Let him play. It's the Super Bowl. Let him play a little bit physical. Let him dominate. I think if you're the Bengals too, because I'll say it's 2, but I wouldn't even think about Jamar Chase early on. I would open it up with Higgins and Boyd, and then see what I could do with Jamar Chase. So even Joe Mixon in the screen game, I would consider doing. Not that I'm avoiding the Ramsey Chase matchup. I'm just saying, hey, your best defender on my best receiver. I got these other guys who are pretty good too.
Patsy, how many pass interference calls tonight on Jalen Ramsey? 2?
Two.
Okay. Bill?
I'm going to say 2, maybe just 1. Who knows?
I have 4.
Ooh.
I have 4.
think Vegas had the over under at 7, I believe.
Yeah, it is a very high number because you have to look at this matchup. And mind you, going back in my days, this is like the Ronnie Lott's, the Deion Sanders times of covering a wide receiver and taking them away. You got probably arguably one of the best cover corners in football going up against the youngest wide receiver and your offensive player rookie of the year and Jamar Chase. And that guy, Jamar Chase is just, as I stated, not even all the water on this planet could cover him. It's going to be a fun matchup.
So if he walks on water, is he basically Moses?
I didn't think I would get to dead air, but even I'm shocked at your comment, Bill. I'm sorry, when I think of somebody walking on water, I think of the other one. I want a copy of this. I am sending it to your priest.
Oh,
World.
sorry, Father Eddie.
World-
Bless me,
okay,
Father
all right.
Bryson.
Okay,
Save
Moving
me,
on.
Jeebus. All
moving on. How about a couple awards here? We need to laugh, please.
All right. Back to our lovely awards show for the SIN network. We still got Defensive Player of the Year and NFL MVP, but we'll save that for the end of the show. Moving on, we got Best Written Article from the network, and we had a 3-way tie at 30%.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah.
Mike, stop voting for yourself.
Couldn't help it.
3 cases for the Hall of Fame had 3 cases for the Hall of Fame. Old Ops guy and Rifkin. The Bucks start here. The Buck starts here. And then me and Old Ops guys article with Steve Kleiner, all at 30%.
Very cool.
And Bill, there was a 10% you for your article with the final judge. So
Hey,
you got a little
there
bit
you
of
go,
love.
Bill.
Hey,
Wait.
not bad.
Steve Clymer is
Steve Kleiner is the president
Kleiner.
Kleiner is the president and GM of the Hudson Valley Renegades, which is our New York Yankee High A affiliate here in the Hudson Valley.
Okay.
Just in case y'all didn't know.
All
So good,
right.
big shout out to Uncle Steve.
Our ranter of the year, who goes on tangents all the time, goes out to Noah.
Oh, Noah.
Noah got 50% of the vote. Bill, you got 40% of the vote.
Oh, so close.
Close call.
All
Shout
right.
out Noah. I know he's working, but shout him out.
Most likely to win a sumo match goes out to Mike Rifkin. 90%, 90% people said you would win a sumo match, while 10% said Moser could win a sumo match.
I just want to take this time to appreciate the fact that you guys want to see me wear what the sumo wrestlers wear.
All right. And then let's see, we did that award. We'll save that award with the end. All right. Most likely to have an Antonio Brown moment. Now, with all the voting, 10% said Nathan Moser would have an Antonio Brown moment. But realistically, 90% said Bill Murphy would have an Antonio
No
Brown.
response to that.
Oh, please don't moon. Please don't moon the. I thought he was going to moon the entire.
He comes back with his shirt off. We're done.
I thought he was mooning. Either that or the bag. One of the two were coming.
And Bill has quit the network, so
No.
No, I'm back.
we will
Come
see you
on.
in a different network on a different day.
Oh.
All right.
I was just playing around.
And then we'll see. Let's see here. And then another word we had was most likely to be arrested. Now, we don't condone you getting arrested. You should
Yeah.
obey by the law. But once again, 40% said Bill was the most likely one to get arrested.
Really? Am I really as crazy as you guys?
Bill's starting a belt. He's got two.
30% said Noah. And then 10% went out to myself, Ross, and Rifkin.
And Rifkin.
You know what? I respect it.
So, Apache, what am I getting arrested for?
Have an Antonio Brown like moment. It's obvious.
Right.
That makes sense.
Makes sense. And then
Makes
our last two awards will go for now. SIN voted football as the sport of the year, and then voted the Buffalo Kansas City divisional game from this past year as the game of the year.
Oh, that was such a good game.
Such a fun game.
Such a fun game. You know what? Let's turn the conversation to that for a second, because there was some talk of changing the overtime rule. I know people have talked about it. I kind of like it as it is, mainly because you don't like it, go stop them.
Well, to me, I've always been kind of been split on this, because I have been saying maybe they should go to college overtime rules. But here's where I think defeats that argument, though. But here's what defeats that argument. During the Kansas City Buffalo game, all the Bills fans are calling for, not just Bills fans, a lot of people are going, overtime rule needs to change. And then as soon as the next week, when the Bengals end up winning the overtime, people are like, well, we're fine with the overtime rule now. It's like, you can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't support the overtime when it benefits your team, but you can't be against it when it doesn't benefit your teams. You can't have your cake and eat it too.
Depends on what kind of cake.
Red velvet.
No.
I'm a chocolate guy.
Lemon.
But anyway, I would support maybe college rules, or what do you guys think?
The NFL overtime rule, I liked it, mind you, sudden death, mind you, it benefits the team who can luckily call a coin in the air. That's all it did. The difference is they took it out that if you kick a field goal, the other team has a chance, which makes sense because teams would just go down and get to the 35 and just kick a field goal to win it. I think it has to be one full possession per team. So you score a touchdown, you kick a field goal, whatever. The other team still gets a chance. That's how it should be. But others figure differently.
I don't mind both teams getting one possession. I also don't care about. I don't mind if you keep it at sudden death. I don't mind the rule as it is now. If you kick a field goal, the other team gets a chance. You score a touchdown, game's over. My thing is this, and my thing has been this on the Bills. You didn't even have to go to overtime. You could have just stopped Kansas City in their tracks. It just took them 13 seconds to get down the field. That's your number one ranked defense. So I understand where you're coming from. Well, both teams should have gotten a chance because, Josh Allen never got an opportunity. And that's fair. But then you're taking out the word sudden death. And, that's going to be the critical case because these games go 3 hours as it is.
Just about. Yeah.
Time of games is going to matter. I mean, just look at what baseball's going through now. Pace of play is a big problem. So there has to be a happy medium. And I think the NFL does actually a pretty good job in where that happy medium lies.
You want to take the two generational gaps we have right with us. You got the old timer who's watched it from the early 80s, and you got, no offense, you guys came in too short ago. But when you watched sudden death, I think defenses played harder in overtime. That's what I've always noticed, is that defenses came to play when it was sudden death. When knowing that, hey, look, when we give up a touchdown, unfortunately with what happened with Buffalo and KC, give a touchdown, we lose, but we give a field goal, we still got a chance. That's not the answer. They have to come out like it's sudden death. And I think teams are play it a little more meticulously than they should.
So we'll see if anything changes with the overtime rule when they get together for competition committee stuff over the offseason. But let's go back and focus on the game because, Mark, you brought up a great point earlier of Jamar Chase, Jalen Ramsey. The other side has Eli Apple on Odell Beckham because Eli Apple has said he wants to cover Odell Beckham, thinks he knows his tendencies from playing together with the Giants. No, Eli Apple. No. I would not want to poke the bear that is Odell Beckham Jr. in this game.
No,
when the lights are on brightest, that is when Odell Beckham has shined. And he's been phenomenal all playoff long.
And he's proven why. Look, we all know the Odell Beckham for what he is with the Giants. I mean, look, the catch against the Cowboys and then his atrocities like Des Bryant, Terrell Owens on the sidelines, then his trip over to Cleveland, which really was horrible. I mean, he really didn't do well in Cleveland. And when you have one of the greatest young talents in football, unfortunately, he got injured this year in Baker. When you lose that top talent and you get no attention, whatever, he's going to go off and do what he did. So what does he do? He ends up on the team that it's the most stacked. He takes the least amount of money because he doesn't need it. And now he's in a prime position to pretty much write his own ticket.
And if the Rams, sorry to cut you off, Bill, if the Rams win, I think he can make up to like $4 million in incentives.
Right.
So,
but you know what? I think the thing is with Odell Beckham Jr. is, and listen, as a Giants fan here, I love him so much. I still remember when he made that catch. And, a lot of people have said that he has had character issues. Like I remember when we were all thinking, where the hell is he going to go after he left Cleveland. And, I was at one point hoping that maybe he was going to go to New England because I was thinking, maybe Belichick is going to give him the good swift kick in the rear that he needs. But then, and then when I heard he was going to the Rams, I'm like, makes sense. Now that team is stacked. That team is now absolutely freaking stacked.
Right. And you're going to see it on the field tonight on how good it is. But if Eli Apple thinks he can cover Odell Beckham Jr., it's
his former teammate, by the way.
And this goes into what I think a lot of people want to focus on the particular matchups. And it's Odell Beckham, Eli Apple, it's Cooper Kupp, and whoever's going to be on the other side.
I feel bad who's got this whole secondary.
And Mike Helton probably against Van Jefferson, especially with Higbee out. And I think Van Jefferson could play a massive role in this game. I really do. Because you're probably going to try to take away Cooper Kupp with safety over the top, maybe lend a hand on Odell. And Van Jefferson can make some plays, and Cam Akers can run the ball. They're going to get Darrell Henderson back, I believe also. I think Darrell Henderson's playing.
I think so. He was
activated, so he could play. They have 3 running backs in Henderson, Michelle, and Akers. And listen, the Rams have ran the ball effectively, through the playoffs. And, that was the one thing Kansas City at times was effective running the football at times in the AFC title game. So,
it's really sorry, go ahead, Mike. No, it's really going to come down to this Cincinnati offensive line.
Yeah.
Because, look, we've watched Joe Burrow all season. The guy got almost 2 seconds from snap to throw. I mean, that's unreal. I mean, just think about that. 2 seconds from getting the ball in your hand to making your decision. Not a lot of time. That's what makes him so good. And he is a fine young talent, and we're going to expect big things from him. But I just think that offensive line is not up to stopping Los Angeles in any sense of the way. I think it's possible you could be looking at a Von Miller, Aaron Donald MVP run for tonight.
That's possible.
And I want to say this because in the AFC title game, I know the Chiefs got to him once, but there were a couple of times they got into the backfield and Joe Burrow was able to use his legs to run out. The problem with that now is you're going to get from all sides because you got Leonard Floyd on one side, you have Von Miller on the other side, and you got this dude named Aaron Donald, and he had a farm, E-I-E-I-O, and on this farm he just gets sacks. And if you go back and you watch if you go back and you watch the Niners game and the NFC title game, that last pass Garoppolo throws that's intercepted to end the game, Aaron Donald's in there in a snap.
Yep.
He's always involved.
Well, that's what I think Joe Mixon is going to play a big thing.
Him one-on-one. Yeah.
That's why I'm wondering how they're going to use Joe Mixon tonight. I mean, you have to figure they're going to try to run the ball early to try to, pull that defensive up. But you stop Joe Mixon, you got a problem.
Well, that's what the Niners had an issue with. The Niners ran the ball for 50 yards in the NFC title game. And now I get it. Joe Mixon is better than Elijah Mitchell. But you're also taking into account the yards Deebo Samuel got in the backfield as well. And, oh, boy. If the Rams could prove they could stop the run, it might be a long night for Joe Burrow. But I don't know how you bet against Joe Burrow at this point.
It's very hard to consider, and I'm sure I know Patchy will agree because we've been talking football the whole year, is that Matt Stafford was at the top of our talks in the beginning of the season when this trade happened. And then the focus, was like, okay, Goff is going to turn Detroit into a powerhouse. Obviously, that didn't happen. Patch, I was just saying, because we were talking.
Mm-hmm.
Does Stafford pull this out with this trade? or is it bust for him tonight?
It's hard to, I would say, predict that, because Matt Stafford's now proven that when he has people there, has talent. No offense to Detroit, just dumpster fire. Dumpster fire for your entire career there. No offense to the city of Detroit. The Lions are just
That's being a little too kind, Patch.
Well,
yes.
It is a dumpster fire. Look at what Detroit has tried to put together. Garbage all the time. And now you got Jared Goff, who's making an insane amount of money. Who's going to be there only a couple more years on his current contract. Jared Goff could be a very big potential site for somebody in a couple of years. I mean, his talents aren't gone; just the team he had is gone.
It's like I said, go back off of Stafford. If Stafford pulls it off tonight, it's justification finally for him, because he finally has his moment as an NFL quarterback to win the big one, to finally let go of the past and what an absolute horrendous career it was for him in Detroit, where he has all the talent in the world, just nothing to show for it. Winning an NFC championship game, yes, that gives you a little bit of justification, but to win the big one gives you all the bragging rights in the world to join the elite few that have won a Super Bowl as a quarterback.
I want to say this because there's a ton of pressure on the Rams to win at home. This is a home game for all purposes. This is a home game. But I also kind of feel the Rams are playing with a little bit of house money as well because of this fact. No, not a lot of people thought they beat the Niners, who've owned them. They beat them. And they went into Tampa and they retired Tom Brady. And to me, that was once they beat Brady, it was kind of like, okay, here it is. And that was the moment for me where I said, you know what? Matthew Stafford, we put him on the, he was probably one of the top 2 or 3 quarterbacks in the league this year under most pressure. You probably put him with Baker, maybe a couple of other guys. And all year it was, okay, Stafford's playing well. He's played really well. And then down the stretch, he started turning the ball over a little bit. He had that. Now he's playing the best football of his career. Honestly, not turning it over, making good decisions with the football, on players with the ball. He's put his team in a position to where they could hoist the Lombardi, and you couldn't be happier for the guy.
I mean, Stafford, I hope, runs for more than 9 yards tonight. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah,
somebody has a parlay somewhere.
Little one. I had to cap it off with something, and I figured that 9 yards is attainable for Matt Stafford.
Just for that, he's running 17.
That works for me. That's more than 9.
That's more than
9. That's works.
You know what? I hope it's like that once.
He's going to run for 9 on the dot, and then at the end of the game, he has to
He's going to kneel and lose the 2 yards.
Yep.
That has happened before on FanDuel and whatever tonight.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. My thoughts on Stafford, and I said this before. I think he's got a lot to prove tonight because he's been so overlooked. But if he loses tonight, I don't know if this really puts a dent in anything. Maybe a little bit, but I think this is this could be the moment for Stafford tonight. And it's funny. The other day I was on a call-in YouTube show from She's Got Sports. Shout out Lauren. Go check her channel out. It's really good. And while I was waiting, I remember there was this one guy saying, who was a diehard Lions fan, who who say, I'm rooting for the Bengals because I'm pissed off that Matt Stafford couldn't win a Super Bowl with my team. And I'm like, couldn't get to the Super Bowl with my team. Like, kind of understandable. But on the other hand, it's not entirely Matt Stafford's fault.
Oh, the Lions are like the Green Bay Packers. They don't like to spend money and go get people.
Here's my problem with that, because I think all Lions fans should be rooting for the Rams tonight anyway.
Absolutely.
Because Matthew Stafford played there for how many every years he got drafted in 2009, he got traded in 21, so 12 years, give or take.
I'll go check that right now.
He did everything he could to put all of that pressure on one guy. Is insane. You want to be mad at someone, be mad at your ownership group. Be mad at your general managers. Be mad at the fact that you're the Detroit Lions and you haven't been consistent enough to be anything. Patchy said
right,
you're
2009.
You are the dumpster fire of the NFL. You know why you constantly pick one or two in the league? Because you stink. Because nothing is going to change the Detroit Lions.
And Mike, I 100% agree with you.
I 100% agree with me too. That's why
I always agree with Rifkin on many things. In this one case, I agree with him. Like I said, look at Detroit. Everyone says, "Oh, Detroit can have a good shot to, maybe win the North. Maybe they can make a run in the playoffs. Excuse me. Maybe they can win the Super Bowl." And they're not going to do it because they refuse to go out, spend a little bit of money. It's like, we'll just draft the next best Tom Brady or the new Tom Brady or the future of the league with the quarterbacks that come in. And then they do nothing.
And that's a failure as an organization, because organizationally, you have to have a plan. And that's how you're going to get better and build it up. And look at the two teams who are playing. The Rams have had a plan. That was to go all in. They're here at the Super Bowl. The Cincinnati Bengals 2 years ago were 2-14. They went out. They drafted Joe Burrow. They've drafted Joe Mixon. They drafted Boyd, Higgins, Jamar Chase. They drafted all those guys. Look at the defense. It's mainly drafted guys. They spent some money this year. Trey Hendrickson was the best free agent signing of the entire offseason. I will argue with anyone about that, because they had to replace Carl Lawson, who signed with the Jets, unfortunately tore his Achilles before the season started. So they did,
about 14 and a half sacks on the
Trey
year?
Hendrickson, here's 4 years, $60 million.
And he had like 14 and a half sacks this year.
14 and a half sacks. And he changed that game in Kansas City when he and Sam Hubbard started rushing Mahomes and making Mahomes think about things.
Agreed.
So if you're Detroit decided, hey, we're going to hire Matt Patricia to be our head coach, and we're going to sign all former New England players, and realizing, hey, other teams have done that and it does not work. So organizationally, if you do not have a plan, you're not going to succeed. That is why the Lions have not succeeded. They've never had a plan to surround Stafford with a team that could legitimately be competitive. And that is an organizational failure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Speaking of organizational failures, we had some news drop today, so we're going to go briefly into that. And it was the Kyler Murray stuff. If you've read, Kyler Murray unfollowed the Cardinals on social media, vice versa. Kyler Murray has grown, quote unquote, frustrated with the organization for whatever reasons. Ineptitude, I believe, was one of the words. But Mark, we were talking about this before we went live, so I'll just throw it to you for this.
Yeah. Okay, so for all of you who don't know, Kyler Murray, star of the Arizona Cardinals franchise, their franchise quarterback, has pretty much dropped and stopped talking on their social media pages and has stopped following them. This is not the first time in the NFL that this has ever happened with a player where they have stopped following them. One of the more recent ones would be Julio Jones with Atlanta. going back. But after seeing what Dak Prescott signed and what Aaron Rodgers is going to get, he's in a position to try to put himself and to get that extension done now. He wants it. He's not going to get it. The Arizona Cardinals are not going to cave and give him $55 million a year. If they do, it's a bigger joke than what Jerry did with Dak Prescott. Look, I'm a diehard Dallas fan. Dak Prescott, until he wins a Super Bowl, it's not a $40 million quarterback. Marino, Montana, Favre, Aikman. I mean, none of them were $40 million quarterbacks.
This is from Chris Martinson on Kyler Murray, frustrated with Cards, embarrassed by playoff loss to the Rams. This is from a teammate and sources that told Martinson, Kyler Murray is described as quote unquote self-centered, immature, and finger pointer, and thinks he's been framed as the scapegoat.
Well, here's the perfect answer to that. When it comes down to the end of the game, besides the coach, you either blew it on offense or you blew it on defense. In the last few weeks, mind you, yes, we all know Kyler Murray was injured and did come back from an injury. He did not perform at anywhere near the level he was at the beginning of the season. Now, mind you, losing DeAndre Hopkins is going to do that to any quarterback. That's taking Calvin Johnson away from Matt Stafford. We can go on, and that's a conversation for another day. But Kyler Murray has nothing to gripe about. Finish your rookie deal. See where you are at that point. Then you make your demands. I'm sick of this rookies who come in and think they're worth more than they are.
Well, I want to say this because Lamar Jackson was a guy who hasn't gotten his big contract yet, and he'll get his.
Mm-hmm.
Kyler Murray hasn't done anything to the same as Lamar Jackson.
Nowhere near.
And Kyler Murray, I think we can all make the case. Kyler Murray's had better talent around him than Lamar Jackson has.
Absolutely. Also, Kyler Murray can do something that Lamar Jackson can't, is throw the ball with accuracy. So
well, he also has better weapons.
That too,
accurate.
but
yeah.
Lamar Jackson is due a huge contract. And is he due what Aaron Rodgers wants, $50 million a year? I don't know. I in this day's money, I don't know what you want to consider it as going back.
And Kyler could also look at the guy he replaced at Oklahoma, Baker Mayfield, who will play on his fifth-year option more likely than that.
Absolutely. There's no reason for him not to.
Right. So as frustrating as Kyler Murray, could be at the Cardinals, and his injury played a part of it. Hopkins' injury played a part. They were 7-0, 8-0. Then they lost to Green Bay at home, and it was all downhill from there for that because they never stopped the fall.
Yeah. And of all of us here, none of us have a dog in the fight tonight as Patchy's MVP winner blew it yet again.
Uh-oh.
Why?
Well, my response to that is, Mark, you're still looking in the 90s for a Super Bowl. So you can go watch your team play in the 90s in a Super Bowl.
Ouch. All right, that was good. I'll give you credit.
I want to say I'm tying
Just remember, before you get buried, I can get I can watch the Packers Super Bowl on DVD. You'll still have to watch it on VHS.
Burn.
Go ahead,
I don't
Bill.
understand your issue with VHS, man.
VHS
Yeah,
is
we're
still
gonna fire up the old
fantastic.
VCR for you, Mark. We'll fire up the old. Do people still own VCRs by any chance?
Yes.
Yes.
I still have one.
I still have mine too.
Dude, VCR, flip phone. Let's go. 90s music's back also.
But anyway, what I was saying about Kyler Murray, though, whoever teammate said that, I think he's 100% correct, because if you're sitting here throwing a fit and you're unfollowing media because it's not it. And yes, did the Cardinals struggle without DeAndre Hopkins this year? Yes. But a lot of that on the field lays on the shoulders of the quarterback, who is, drum roll please, Kyler Murray. So I don't know what's going to happen. Is he going to demand to get released? Is he going to?
They're not releasing him.
They're not going to release him. He has, I think, 2 years left. He isn't going anywhere.
Well, the only thing they could do is they could trade him. But the problem is going to be if he is that kind of guy, I don't know who's trading for him.
No one's going to take a risk at paying out $60-70 million for a 1-2 year deal. No way.
I think there is a bet. Actually, I'm not going to say it. I know there's a better chance of Deshaun Watson getting traded than Kyler Murray.
Deshaun Watson, yet, mind you, he's been able to keep quiet, and that's good for him right now. But we'll see what happens after the Super Bowl's over.
Well, the Texans did say they wanted to trade before the start of the league year, so we'll wait and see on that. And then you got Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers as well. And according to sources, Carson Wentz could be on the trade block too. So
that was talked about big time today because he's due $15 million. I'm sorry. If I'm the Colts, I'm keeping him. $15 million's a steal.
I mean, unless I could seriously upgrade. And I mean, Aaron Rodgers, Russell.
You have to be, top two quarterback situation there.
That's the only way I'm doing.
Yeah.
Oh, unless I convince Brady to come out of retirement.
Brady goes to the Colts. I swear to God, I'm stopping to watch the AFC entirely.
Yeah, the AFC title game's the real Super Bowl.
Yeah. Brady, look, stay away. That's all I'm going to ask.
You know what? Go in the commentating booth with Romo and just have Brady and Romo do commentating.
Oh God!
Take your money, go with Giselle, and just leave us the hell alone.
We'll see him 5 years in Canton,
and then we'll see
the
him
immortal
at the PGA.
one ascends onto Mount Olympus.
Or you know what? If you want to buy a team, go buy a team.
Why not? Now, Brady could do that.
That's the gold jacket. The gold jacket is Tom Brady's Infinity Gauntlet, finally.
Oh, please tell me he's horrible at golf. I never watched him play golf.
Infinity Gauntlet. He's not going to go on the PGA Tour, Mark.
You don't know
why not? Why not? Romo was a stroke away last year. Anybody can make it these days.
All right. So, better yet, I have a question for you guys. It's not a trivia question or anything. You know, we got the game tonight, but we also have the commercials. And a bet I usually do with my friends is what's going to be the first Super Bowl commercial after kickoff and it cuts to commercial. Which company will
a Rebuild America commercial? So I'm going to say some type of pharmaceutical company is going to be pushing a new antidepressant. I don't know. I'm going to say some type of health commercial.
So like Pfizer or something.
Pfizer, some type of pharmaceutical company.
Rifkin.
That's my guess.
I'm going to say Amazon.
Oh, that's a good one.
I'm going to say maybe like Ford.
Good one. Another good one to go with, an American car make company.
I usually get torn between this. It's either going to be Budweiser.
See.
Budweiser or Doritos, because Doritos.
I'm hoping for a great Doritos.
Well, Doritos, to me, the greatest Doritos commercial is, and my wife did not like it, didn't find it funny. Mind you, she was pregnant with our daughter at the time.
Oh, I know
the one with the baby doing the sonogram. I was hysterical because I was picturing doing that, and my wife said, "Don't you friggin' dare." So that to me was one of the greatest Doritos commercials ever.
If we're talking about commercials now, we can talk about
why not? Let's have a little fun.
We have a little fun commercials. One of there's so many, Puppy Monkey Baby.
Oh,
one of the best ones, Puppy Monkey Baby. Budweiser
Budweiser had the best one ever made. Was the one with the puppy and the Clydesdale when they reunite.
Yep.
To me, that was it was the only commercial I've ever teared up for. I actually had a tear.
Wasn't Waz Up a Super Bowl commercial also?
Yes, was an original. Wasabi. Yes. Coca-Cola and Pepsi used to have some great battles. And I want to say it was around the 86 Super Bowl where Coke and Pepsi had the Coke vendor in there and the Pepsi guy is leaving and the Coke guy goes to steal a Pepsi out and the whole refrigerator falls out. To me, that was great. And he's standing there with the Pepsi can.
Snickers puts out a good commercial almost every year.
Snickers does a good job. Yeah.
We always get a movie trailer for some movie that's coming out.
Yeah, I guarantee
You know,
you
that's a good point. We haven't heard watched specifically for this during the Super Bowl. When you think about it for movies this year, could it be Top Gun?
Here's some of my predictions, and me and my buddy JT maybe tonight are going to be doing a live on his channel Super Review Show after the game to talk about that. So shameless self promotion for that.
That's okay, Bill. Remember to tag SIN in it.
And so here's what I think. I think here's some trailers we could see. I think we're probably going to see a trailer for the Batman.
See, the only okay, go ahead.
I'm excited, which I am super psyched for because I am a bit of a Batman geek. I think we're also going to see I think maybe a Top Gun commercial, like Mark said, because that movie has literally been in limbo for God knows how long because it was supposed to come out in 2020 and then 2020 things, and I think maybe it was supposed to be released last year, but it didn't. So maybe this is the year it's finally going to get released. I think we're also going to see I think we're also going to see a trailer. It's supposed to drop either today or tomorrow. I don't know, but a trailer for Doctor Strange's Multiverse of Madness.
They're going to hold that. If they show that tonight, I'd be very surprised, especially with the opportunity for them to pretty much
put
Far From Home, not Far From Home, but whatever the last one which they've released.
No Way Home.
No Way Home. Thank you.
Put it this
way.
way.
Home DVD.
With that commercial, they're gonna have people tune into the Super Bowl and then not show it. Then you got people just watch the whole game, waiting for that commercial, and then
it's a very good
drop
point
it at
though.
midnight.
Yeah, that's a very good point though. There has been no must come to the Super Bowl to see this trailer, so be interesting to see what they do.
Yeah, what were you saying about the Batman trailer when I first said that?
The only reason why that I do not think you'll see that is because I think that would have been hyped because it's the Super Bowl and that's going to be a big premiere movie. There's so many huge premiere movies. It could be the Jurassic Park trailer for all we know.
That too. But, because I'm also thinking with the Batman trailer, because usually a lot of these movies that they're going to show, Doctor Strange, Top Gun,
too dark.
Jurassic Park.
That's the problem. It's too dark. It's not family oriented.
Well, no, I wasn't thinking that because those movies are coming out in the summer. The new Batman movie's coming out in like 2-3 weeks.
Beginning of March.
Yeah.
March 4th.
We shall see.
I'm trying to think of you guys as Batman villains right now.
Oh, well, I'm easy.
What's more?
I'll figure this out.
I'm a baseball card dealer. You guys should be easily figuring this out.
Riddler.
The Joker.
Joker. I'm a Two-Face, baby. I am Two-Face. Say one thing, do something different. Sorry. If you're going to put me as a villain, I'm Two-Face.
All right. Patch is the Penguin.
How am I Dr. Penguin?
Are we talking animated series Penguin or Danny DeVito Penguin?
No.
Oh, we may go Danny DeVito.
Oh.
If anything, I'm the Riddler.
Mike. I had you as the Penguin. Sorry.
All right, that's fine.
I had Bill as the Penguin.
When you put it out there like that, Bill could be the Penguin.
That new podcast dropping at some point after football season.
SIN's the parody.
I can't wait. All right. We took commercials.
We have a few awards left.
We do have
sorry,
awards.
Mike. Sorry, Mike, you were going into something and I cut you off.
For the first time in a long time, I'm excited for the halftime show.
All right. We haven't talked the halftime show. You got an all-star cast tonight.
Yeah, you got Dr. Dre, you got Eminem, Snoop Dogg, Mary J. Blige, and Kendrick Lamar. I'm telling you right now, if Snoop Dogg goes into gin and juice, I might lose it a little bit.
Oh, I'm going to go nuts if he goes into gin and juice.
Yeah.
It's more funny that this Super Bowl halftime show is not going to go 15 minutes. They're going to milk it for maybe a half hour.
Easily.
Yes.
Listen, as long as what doesn't happen in 13 happens again, we'll be fine. I don't care how long they
What was
go.
2013 again?
The blackout.
Yeah, when the
The
power went
blackout.
out.
Oh, that
Right.
was
Power went out.
Beyonce, right?
Yeah, Beyonce.
And
And then the
it's-
49ers magically could come back.
And as long as we don't have another Justin Timberlake moment, we'll be okay.
Yeah.
Justin and Janet, yes.
I mean, you know, you got to pay for that kind of content now.
Yep.
Just like Moser's OnlyFans.
We're going to be so on that.
All right.
But no, I'm not really. I'll be honest. I'm not really a big rap hip hop guy, but I'm curious to see the halftime show tonight. I think it's going to be a good one.
This is better for me because I actually know the people performing.
I know these people.
I had no idea who the Weeknd was. I'll be honest.
You know, bringing up a good thing on the Super Bowl halftime show. What is the best Super Bowl halftime show you've seen? To me, it's going all the way back to 1992-93, the Michael Jackson halftime Super Bowl at Super Bowl 27. I have to admit that was the best one I saw. See,
Best
so far.
I've seen.
To
It's a
me,
tough one.
it's a toss-up between.
Okay.
To me, it's a toss-up between U2, the one after 9/11,
Okay.
and
Love
also
U2.
interesting fact when we brought up Janet Jackson, she was actually supposed to be the halftime show that year, but during what happened, the NFL said, "Hey, Janet, I think can you take a rain check?" Because they wanted to do something more appropriate, and they thought U2 was more appropriate.
Mhm.
But yeah, I would say U2 and another one, and I'm a little biased because I saw this man in concert, Sir Paul McCartney.
Okay. That was another
Because
good
I'm a
one.
big Beatles fan, so
The Patch Man.
See, I'm not. I like the Weekend last year.
Okay.
I don't really have a favorite. It's just because to me, they overlook the rock artists. They're like, oh no, okay, this year, okay, I'm kind of excited for it because I kind of like some of these artists because it's fitting. It's something different. But okay, we let's give the people Coldplay.
ooh, that'd be a good one.
That Coldplay's done the halftime show.
Yes.
Oh yeah, they did.
But I'm not saying we give the people Coldplay. I like Coldplay, don't get me wrong. I'll listen to them occasionally, but like there's I could name a couple rock artists that would put on a fantastic halftime show. You
Foo
can give
Fighters.
Foo Fighters,
Yes.
Green Day. You can give Muse a halftime show.
Nickelback.
You know what? Give Nickelback a halftime
No,
show.
only if it's in Canada.
I would give Nickelback a halftime show. One we've been overlooking for years, Metallica.
Oh God, I kill.
I'm not
I
a big
go
metal
nuts.
guy, but I think
Nah,
they
I'm not a big metal guy either, but I love Metallica.
If you
I go nuts.
maybe they're saying that for Super Bowl 60 for all we know.
Who knows?
But
That would be fun.
But if you give Metallica a halftime show, they can do a good set in a 15, 20-minute sprint. Just imagine they start and it's the beginning of Enter Sandman. People would lose their damn mind.
Billy
Don't get me wrong.
Wagner's song, not Mariana's.
No, it is Mariano's.
It was Billy Wagner's first in Houston.
Billy Wagner should be in the Hall of Fame also, but that's
Yes, that's
different
another.
Hall
of Fame.
That's a different sport.
That's a different
Anyhow.
sport, different podcast.
But yeah, but
Yes.
anyway, yeah, no, Patch, I kind of agree. I think rock artists are sort of overlooked because I think most of the time they're like, what are the kids listening to nowadays? Because we got to get the youths, the youths.
Well,
I'm
the-
looking forward. If Snoop goes to Gin and Juice, I'm gonna be very happy. But I'm gonna go a little movie-ish. If Eminem goes into Lose Yourself, yeah, Westchester's gonna be rocking.
Oh, I can't. I hope he does Lose Yourself.
It's either Lose Yourself or it's got to be Without Me.
If it's without me, SIN is going live just to know that old Ops guy song is being played.
Yeah, because
I love that.
I was talking to one of our writers the other night, Jeffrey Knapp, and he's around old ops guy's age, and he was saying like people like are, because he said, he said there was like some, I don't know if it was a TikTok or he was just saying like people who are like my age are going to be acting like they were like they're 16, 17 years old when Snoop Dogg and all of them come back.
So the halftime show.
Go ahead, Mike.
Everyone's excited for the halftime show. Everyone's excited about the commercials.
I do want to give a shout out to Jeff Knapp, who's done a great job with the Giants.
Shout out, Jeff.
Good job,
Jeff. You've done a great job when you filled in, and thank you for also helping out with the wrestling. It's been a big help.
All right, before we get into predictions and who wins, who loses, we have a couple of awards left, Patch.
Yes, for our NFL awards, Defensive Player of the Year, unanimous. 70% of the SIN network said TJ Watt.
By the way, that moment with him and JJ.
Oh, that was awesome. That was awesome.
And then 50% of the SIN crew said Aaron Rodgers was the MVP.
He should have been.
20% also went to Tom Brady and Cooper Kupp. And then one lonely person voted for T.
For who?
Was not me.
Hang on. I had to Jonathan Taylor, I meant to say, my bad.
Jonathan Taylor.
Most overlooked person of the year.
And then,
I think if the Colts gotten into the playoffs, you would have had an interesting convo. But
sorry,
I think they got it. I think we got most of them right outside of Coach of the Year. Mike Vrabel didn't deserve it. Should have been Zach Taylor, but that's a whole nother conversation. So, gentlemen.
Hang on. No, hang on. I have two more awards. Hang on.
Oh, you got two more. Okay, go ahead.
I have two more awards. We got to give out our MVP of
That's
the
true.
network.
That is true.
Drum roll.
And your network MVP is not Nathan Moser.
Good call. That's a great call.
I was going to
Good
say,
job,
Nate,
SIN.
good job, SIN. No, we love you, Nate. It goes out to Danny Boy Reginald.
Dan Reginald is our vice president, and he works tirelessly to keep us all in line and works very hard on the network itself.
He does.
No offense to all four of us here. We do a great job, but the guy who was here with us before is the right choice.
He is the right
Congratulations,
choice.
Mr. Vice President.
He is my right-hand man with this network when it comes to
What if you were left-handed? Would he be your left-hand man then?
He would be my left-hand man then.
Yeah.
Well,
nope.
And then
nope.
and then you know what? Best honor member goes out to all the honorary members. So you all get the award, which is Liam, Jeff, Eric, Alex, Connor, Robert, and Connor and Alex as well. You all get
And Big Al.
and Big Al.
The big man.
And the big
Shout
man,
out
Big
the
Al.
boys.
Shout out to the boys. You all are the best honorary member here because without you guys, you don't help us keep us sane here.
Ziggy
All
Ziggy.
right.
Ziggy zaggy, ziggy zaggy.
All right. It's time.
Here we go.
Who wins Super Bowl 56 and who is the MVP? Bill, I'll start with you.
Okay, I am the odd man out here because I said this on the podcast and I stand by it. I'm going with the upset. I think Cincinnati's going to win. And I think Jamar Chase is going to be MVP.
You got a score?
35-31. But if the Rams win, I think Kupp's going to be MVP.
Pats man.
The Patch Man. This is for me. This is something I've been dreading all week because I think Monday I might have given a prediction. I can't remember off the top of my head. It was too early for me, maybe. Looking at this, I want Cincinnati to win. And if Cincinnati wins, it would be 30-27. Joey B gets the Super Bowl MVP, but I will be taking the Rams here. 35-32 and give Matt Stafford the MVP.
I look at this game and I have to stand by where I stood at the beginning of the season. If Dallas wasn't in it, who did I have? I had the Rams. I had the Rams to be in it. No offense to my boy Randall Kamari Brugegi down with Columbus, but the Rams win this one 38-24, and Matt Stafford gets the MVP.
So I've been back and forth and tossing and turning. I'm going with the Rams because Matthew Stafford deserves this. Sean McVay deserves this. Andrew Whitworth, who won the Walter Payton Man of the Year and gave a great. If he can win the Super Bowl, and he'll retire, I'm assuming if they win 5 years, he's going to the Hall of Fame.
Yes,
I've got the Rams 31-27. Odell Beckham Jr.'s your Super Bowl 56 MVP.
Whoa.
Mainly to bother Noah in the worst possible manner.
And I was saying,
go ahead, Bill.
I was saying this off air. If the Rams win tonight, tomorrow for the podcast recording, I'm wearing my OBJ. I'm wearing my Giants OBJ jersey.
Thank God it's audio only.
That's what I was about to say. Thank you, Mike, for saving us.
But
nobody wants to see that.
I mean, hell, if the Rangers won the Stanley Cup, I'd probably do breakaway shirtless, but no one wants to see that either. Although we may have to release the video for that. But anyway,
if we do that, that will be on Nathan Moser's OnlyFans.
That probably will make it.
God,
all right, everyone, enjoy the Super Bowl. We're excited. You're excited.
Go eat. Have fun.
Go eat. Gain 5 pounds like Mark will.
Yes.
If you get bored during halftime or after the game, check out the website, www.thesportsinsanitynetwork.com. Check out the podcasts at Anchor and wherever you get your podcasts. But for Bill Murphy, Lawrence Patchman Lang, Mark Oldop, Sky Halpern, I'm Mike Rifkin. You've been listening to SIN Sunday Sideline Report Super Bowl pregame. Thank you for tuning in all season. Go to the website, check out the website, check out the podcast, but have a great Sunday night. Enjoy the food and the Super Bowl, and namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste.